We'll call the regular meeting of the Economic Development Authority for Tuesday, July 14, 2020 at 8 a.m. to order. First item on the agenda is roll call. We'll have Heather do the roll call.
All right, Commissioner Brum?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni?
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. We have a quorum. We'll go on to item number 2. Public notice to conduct meeting by teleconference. Need a motion to order it filed?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Heather, you want to do a roll call?
Commissioner Brum?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni?
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 3, minutes of last meeting. Approved the
I'll
minutes.
offer a motion to approve, Les.
I'll second, Sue.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on any? Seeing none. Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brum?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni?
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 4, administrative activities for June of 2020. Heather?
All right, I'll just point out a couple highlights for the month of June. Note under the public housing program, our fiscal year ended June 30th, and the deficit in the budget for that year was a deficit of $27,900. We actually ended the year with a deficit of $3,400, so I was pleased we were able to keep our expenses down as much as possible to try and end the year even as close as we could. Just wanted to point that out. Note on the EDA report, I just wanted to notify the board, there was an issue with a house at 620 Fender Drive in Milford Heights First Edition. It was brought to our attention that a house was under construction that had issues that didn't comply with the covenants. So I went up and took a look, and the issue was that the garage is in front of the house, which the covenants require the garage to be set back from the front of the house. The homeowners purchased this lot, and it closed in January, and they didn't submit the plans to the Architectural Review Committee as required by the covenants, and so we weren't even aware that they had started construction. By the time I found out and went and took a look, we had a foundation, we had walls, we had a roof that was being shingled, so it was quite far along in the process already. So we met with the city attorney to get his advice, and he recommended having the Architectural Review Committee meet to review the house design and make a decision on whether they were going to approve it or not approve it. We did hold that meeting on July 9th, and they did approve the house design with conditions. We did ask the homeowner to extend their front porch another 5 feet so the porch would be in front of the garage and therefore be the focal point of the house, which the covenants do recommend. And they did agree to do that, and we got that in writing, and we also got a modified floor plan with the extension of the porch for the file. And so we're considering that issue to be resolved and let them move forward with building their house. I just wanted to make you aware of that issue. Now, the remaining 8 lots that don't have homes on them yet, we have sold to a developer. That sale closed on July 1st, and the developer is fully aware of the Architectural Review Committee process, so this should not happen again on the remaining 8 lots. So this one home will be an outlier in the 29 lots in the first edition. So that's what happened there. Moving on, note under the limited small business loan program, Audra received 6 applications during the month of June. Under the home buyer assistance loan program, note we have $10,000 remaining in that program as of June 30th. They're all allocated, they're all spoken for, they just haven't been paid out yet. We expect that to be paid out in the next month or so. And then we'll start a waiting list for applicants, and then if you put more funds in that program for 2021, we'll start approving those applications at that time. That's all I was going to highlight for you. Are there any questions on anything?
Anybody have
Heather,
any?
it looks like, Les, it looks like you purged the waiting lists again, maybe, because there's some significant differences there.
We did, thank you. We try to purge the waiting list this time of year every year, and we have completed that purge, and so there were many files closed as a result.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Just a quick question too, Heather. Just out of curiosity, the project-based vouchers at Emerson Union, are they all used up at this time?
2 of the 4 are occupied and on the program. We're working on a 3rd for August 1st, and we're waiting for a referral for the 4th, and we're hoping to get those all filled in the next couple of months here. And then Emerson Union as a whole will be completely occupied.
Okay.
Good.
Just saw the vouchers and it made me want to ask. And that sounds like then that would be typical, I think, because they're finally fully ramped up at this time. And
Yeah, there is a spreadsheet on page 5 of your report that shows the project-based. So you see for July, 2 of the Emerson project-based vouchers are being utilized currently. So if
great.
you ever want to know, you can look there.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
I will make a motion to accept the Economic Development Authority administrative activities for the month of June 2020.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brum,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 5.1, EDA claims list to be. Got it in front of you. Anybody have any questions, concerns about it?
Refresh my memory on the quality appliance and television for the 18,000.
That was to purchase air conditioners for
That's right.
the Broadway House apartments. We had previously purchased 5, and then we went ahead with the remaining CARES Act funds, and we used some of our capital funds for 2020. So the whole building now, all 40 units have brand new air conditioners that are EDA owned.
I bet they love that.
We've received a lot of thank yous and happy responses to that.
Good, thank you.
And we'll be reimbursed for several expenditures on this month's claims. The Apex Construction was a capital fund expense. GOG Sheet Metal, that had to do with the tuck pointing project. That was an add-on. And then the CARES Act and the Capital Fund 2020 for those air conditioners will be reimbursed for all of those expenses.
Heather, I got a question going back to the quality appliance. You have CARES Act as a note. That's not going to be a reimbursable by the CARES Act funding, is it?
Yes, the public housing program received about $10,000 in CARES Act funding, and this is an eligible expense for use of those funds.
Okay, all right.
I would
Thank
assume too that these new air conditioners are going to be more energy efficient than maybe the ones that were in previously.
They sure should be,
Okay.
yeah.
Any other questions?
I'll make a
I'll
motion.
move the claims. This is Les.
I'll second.
I'll second. Jessica.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brum,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. Item 6.1, approve a lease agreement with EDA-owned property. Heather?
This one's Audra.
Or Audra,
Audra,
sorry about
yeah.
that.
So, good morning, and we have received an offer or an interest from Ted Bergstrom on leasing the same property that we had the special meeting on. So this is sort of round 2 or volume 2 of that. Many of you know Ted Bergstrom of B Concessions, and he is interested in leasing out the parking lot by Broadway House there. There's quite a bit of information in the staff report on that. What you'd be approving is that now we could take it to the city attorney to draft the lease agreement. We've already discussed insurance, how he would like some, he's totally fine with other food trucks coming into that place. But again, they would have to go through the same process. We looked at $150 a month, which would be both the rental and then the utilities, and he would not be putting those in his own name. We would just be taking care of that through the payment. Make it a little bit more simple. And this would be for July, August, September, and October.
I like it. I like the idea that maybe we can have more food trucks there, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve the lease. What?
Just a question, Audra. If an additional vendor would come, then we would get a separate lease with those individuals?
Absolutely.
Okay,
And the only requirement that Mr. Bergstrom had was that food items would not be duplicated. And that's completely understandable, and I think that that's manageable through city staff working with the different vendors.
okay.
Sometimes when I go past there, I notice that there's vehicles parked. Are they going to be available to continue parking there, or will they no longer be parking there?
Are they leased
I
spots?
don't know. No, they're not. I've noticed that too, and I don't know whose vehicles those are and why they're parking there. There are signs that say Broadway House parking only.
So,
For 3 there this morning.
Sometimes,
Okay.
I know sometimes the street department uses it for lawn mowing when they're doing the boulevards, but these private people that just park there from time to time, I don't know. And I'm not able to have them towed because we don't have signage that says we will tow. So as long as it's not bothering anyone or I'm not getting any complaints, I don't worry too much about it, but I have noticed that.
So as this goes forward, I don't know how many spots he's looking for. This is not a food truck. This is his tent. He's looking to do the sandwiches and things like that. So we will figure out how many spots he gets and mark those, or he'll mark them somehow.
Just so that there's communication as to, yes, I get that area, or no, I don't, or whatever, so.
Couldn't the guy put a note on the
Audra,
vehicles?
we don't provide any of the seating or anything, right? Like picnic
No.
tables or that kind of stuff?
No, we do not. And I don't know if we would want to enter into that with all of the physical distancing. Do we want to create, I'd love to create an atmosphere where people can just hang out and talk. That's my personality. But I don't think that that would be wise for the city at this point. But we could, change that if we want.
Maybe in the future.
There
We
are
have a motion,
benches.
but we had no second on the motion.
Correct.
Counselor Schultz, there are benches and I believe tables at Shonlow Park, though. And then Kiesling
Yeah.
Park is just kind of across the street. So it's
And
not too
downtown
far.
has
Yeah.
tables now. That's a good point, Les. Maybe we should have a second on the motion before we have further discussion.
I'll offer the second.
Any more discussion?
Well, we've had a good one so far, but I'm assuming, and maybe the city attorney can address this, that any food vendors would comply with all the local, state, federal restrictions
Yes, Mr.
with
Bergstrom
COVID. Yeah.
and the
yeah.
city attorney
Yep.
both have stated that one needs it, one will provide it.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Seeing none? Heather, please call roll.
Commissioner Braun,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes,
Commissioner Yanni,
yes,
Commissioner Schultz,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
yes,
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 6.2, commercial rehab loan application improvements.
All right, commission members, so the commercial rehab loan program has been around for a long time. I've included some overview in your packet today. And when we've made a couple changes just the last couple of months. One was the increase of the amount someone could get from $50,000 to $75,000, which included the approval. Now, if somebody came for anything over $50,000, that would have to come to this group. That was one change, and then based upon and initiated by the COVID situation, we've taken that limited loan of $5,000 and changed that to a small business loan for $10,000. So those are some pretty significant changes, and so city staff discussed maybe it's time to break out these two programs into two separate documents, each with their own policies and regulations, and each with their own, they've had their application, but you know, if now would be a good time to tweak that if needed. So some significant time has been put into talking with Chris, the city manager, the community development director, David Schnobrick, building official Elwood Dobble, and city planner John Nisley. We walked through the application, or the policies and regulations, and made some changes, updated some things, and so the significant things that I felt I wanted you know, it's hard to read policies and regulations, you know, comparing one to the other. So I did just highlight some of the significant changes right there in the packet for you. So today I'd like you to accept kind of where we're going. Again, these can be tweaked as needed. I'd prefer not to get into the wordsmithing of, well, I prefer that be this word. I understand that, but I'd really like your discussion and approval on the direction we're headed in splitting the two documents out, and if this reflects the intent of this group. Does that make sense? Okay. Do you want me to go through the things that I listed in the packet, or does anybody have anything they want to start out with?
Anybody have any concerns or questions? We have everything in front of us, you know.
To do the $10,000 loan, they don't necessarily have to be secured?
We will deal with the $10,000 loan next month. This
Oh,
is
okay.
just the commercial rehab loan.
Okay, and these all would be secured?
Yes, they all have to have matching funds.
Okay, but secure, like collateralized, like a mortgage or?
It's matching funds, and then they have to sign a personal guarantee.
Okay, so the personal guarantee would be the only source of collateral or securitization. Go ahead, Chris. I'm trying to remember, because I thought some of them we've had mortgages secured on them.
I'll let Chris go on that.
So under H, under the policies, they are going to need a commercial real estate mortgage, promissory note, and personal guarantee. Those are all required at the time of closing for the
Okay.
for the rehab loans. Yes.
Okay. And I know the other thing, and this goes back when I first became a commissioner, when we went through this process, and my question was how do we underwrite these loans? How do we make a decision whether it's viable? And at the time it was, well, the local lender is the person doing that. We're going to kind of follow on their coattails. And now we're kind of proposing to remove that stipulation. So I didn't know if we do that, then what are we going to do to try to properly evaluate the loan to see if it's creditworthy?
Yeah, so we will be looking at, working with the city attorney to pull credit report and things like that. So we'll have to do that on our end if they're
Okay,
using personal
okay.
financing or outside sources.
Gotcha. Okay. So we would go through several steps in terms of making sure and evaluating that it's creditworthy. Okay.
Yes.
That was my main concern, because I think they always relied on the local lender to do that heavy lifting. And I can completely understand, if they've got other sources of funds they want to utilize, there's no reason not to consider that, so.
Yep.
I don't know if any of the
Mr.
other.
President?
Go ahead.
Audrey, I got a question on number 5. The way I read that is if there's a loan of $50,000, it would not come in front of us, the way the wording is. Was that your intention?
Over 50 comes, right? 50 would
It's anything over 50 would require approval from the EDA.
50 would be a pretty common number, so I think I don't know if I would vote in favor of this unless it said at 50,000 or more, or something of that nature. So I know you don't like wordsmithing, but how I read that is a $50,000 request would not come in front of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Schultz, at a previous meeting, the EDA did vote to allow 50,000 not to come before the commission. It was anything over 50,000, and that's why that policy was written that way.
I must not have had enough coffee that morning.
So just to
All right.
clarify, the over 50,000 is what has already been agreed upon, over.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions, concerns?
All right, just moving along then, in the new, there's some changes also in the new application. We have not in the past required them to disclose their matching funds information right off the bat, so we're asking them to include that. In the project descriptions, I will say that some of them are pretty small, so we're asking for more information on how the funds will be used, not as a burden, but just as an understanding of what the project is gonna be. And then we also talked about, this application process where the credit review, there's, just to Commissioner Brom's point, that now it says that it will be, depending on where the matching funds are coming from, will determine which process will kick in for the credit report.
Thank you, Audra. Anybody else have any questions?
Just on item 6 too, and this is something I would just recommend, maybe you talk to the city attorney. If it involves having a mortgage, that we probably would recommend getting a lien waiver as well as a paid receipt on any advances that would have gone toward subcontractors. And I don't know if being a public body, if that's a requirement, if you maintain a superior lien position. But if so, and I'm speaking as a banker here, that's why in a construction or remodeling project, we would routinely request a lien waiver from a paid subcontractor when they receive funds on either providing labor or materials on a project, so. But you can clarify that with the city attorney.
Anything else?
Did some of this come from, like, businesses where they're looking for this as a better means of getting access to these funds too? Is that what's prompted some of the changes? Like having the outside funds, has that been an impairment for some other potential applicants to not go through with it?
It has come up in discussion with city staff who have more experience with these loans than I have,
Sure.
and currently there is a project that is out there that would be able to take advantage of that.
But-
They would like to come for a loan, but they do not. are
They're not
choosing
going through what
a local
currently
lender. Yeah.
what we've got down. Okay.
So still, right now, we are requiring them to
Yep,
go through a local
exactly.
lender.
Okay, gotcha.
Anybody have anything else? If not, we just need a motion to accept the process that we're going through, basically.
Yeah, and I
Sure.
imagine final approval will come down the road a little bit once.
I will defer to Chris on that. Does the commission need to do final approval, or is it just, because these are done usually by city staff?
Yeah, if everyone's okay with the changes, I would just make the motion to accept as is, unless you have substantial questions at this point, because I think this is pretty much the culmination of where it's gonna end. I don't think there's gonna be any changes, significant changes outside of this.
Okay. So, entertain a motion, unless anybody has any more questions.
I'll offer a motion. This is Jessica.
I'll second it, Mike Schwartz.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brom,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. Item 6.3, Small Business Development Center Service Agreement. Audra?
All right, so I've been working with the Small Business Development Center Director, Mike Hahn, and we are bringing to you today the proposal for 2021. It is also at the same amount as was allotted for 2020. I will say that they have changed up some of the delivery of their services. We're still working with working on getting back into the two-person in City Hall 2 times a month. But a lot of their consultants are working remotely or through Zoom and things like that. Also looking at some of the other programming, this still includes that we have access to the BizLink North, which is a succession planning. If people are interested or buying or selling a business, that will give us access to that. We're talking about increasing the marketing of the services a little bit more. And then the consulting cafes, we're exploring how to deliver those services to budding entrepreneurs in a little bit different manner, just taking into account physical distancing. So we will continue to have the same agreement with having a consultant in City Hall 2 times a month. They are trying to be flexible and fluid on how do we get their services into our community as much as possible with some of the other things going on. So I would recommend approval. I think there was great discussion last month. Was it last month that we had them on the phone and you were able to ask questions about what they were seeing? And actually, Commissioner Brahm, the situation with the person looking for a loan outside of a local lender is working with a small business development consultant. So that's how that got to me also. So they are helping to get people to our loan programs.
Great, thank you. Any
What-
questions?
When was the last year, when was that agreement signed? When was it dated?
I am sorry, I do not know that off the top of my head.
Has it been 1 year already? Is what
It
I'm
has
wondering,
not.
are we,
I don't believe so. We're just working ahead.
right,
So
okay. Just kind of curious whether it's been,
I can find that
I know
out
it's
for-
been 6 months for sure, 9 months, but just
Yeah,
curious.
time goes, it's been a while.
It's been a while, but, okay.
Any other questions, concerns?
This is Jessica. I really liked how they joined the meeting last time and kind of spoke to us about things, and I would hope they do that again in the future. We wanted that too, so I feel like it would really hit the right time too to have that agreement in place with them with all the new scenarios and questions that have come up this year. So I would offer the motion to execute the agreement for another year.
And I'll second, and I want to echo Commissioner Yanni's. I really liked the discussion last month, and I would hope that we could continue on an ongoing basis. I think they could be a good source of direction for us as a commission too, in terms of being responsive to the needs of our local community and our small businesses, and developing and enhancing some of the programs that we have. So I would like to see that definitely ongoing.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Have we gotten people outside of New Ulm to take advantage of this, like our surrounding communities?
I think that there has been some because of having a consultant in City Hall. We've had a couple people from other communities come in because it's closer than going to Mankato. I know at the Consulting Cafe, we had people from outside the community come in for that.
Is that like a Zoom?
Well, we did when we did it, it was in person still.
Okay.
And so now we're trying to figure out how to do it in the current situation.
Okay, thank you.
And we hosted that at the library, so it was also used using the city facility for that.
Good.
Thank you. Any more questions? Seeing none? Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brahm,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes,
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. Item 7.1, Economic Development Director, Assistant City Manager Activity Report. Audra.
Yes, thank you. So you can see just in my report, it has been a little bit active still with small business loans. There are some funds still available in that program. I'd say about 50,000, so we can handle a couple more. hopefully having a small business come in and sign that today. Our Tier 2 grant program, the 1,500 one, does close on July 30th. So hoping that I'm just saying that, and we'll probably push it out on Facebook one more time, that opportunity is still there for businesses affected by COVID. Is there any questions about anything in my overview?
Anybody have any questions, concerns?
I do have a question, but it's not specific to what you have listed. So I don't know if you can
All right.
ask for questions at the
I know
end
you're
or
on,
what.
yeah, I know you're on a time frame, Commissioner Les, so why don't you go ahead and ask your question?
I brought it up several times in the past, and I don't know if it's to you or to Chris, but that daycare center that we have on State Street, where we've had that issue of $500 for some fire department code fix, and we talked about if they don't want to open it, that we should look at buying it and leasing it to a facility. Are we moving anywhere on that? Is there any development in that area? Love to hear some feedback on that.
I reached out again and have not gotten a response at this time. So again, I continue to reach out to them to see what their status is. But at this point in time, they are current with their loan. So kind of that's where it sits.
I'm going to push that you guys do a little harder push between now and next month. I really think that's an area that we really need help with in our community, and it's a facility sitting there that's partly furnished, and I know we can't force them to do anything, but I don't know if your contact was by letter or by phone, but I really would like to see some more movement in that area to the benefit of our entire community. And there are cities that are just buying some of these facilities and then leasing them to Kids Connection or some of these other facilities we have in town to run them. And I really think that's where some of our next funding needs to go. So can we make that a priority for next month?
Yeah, we can do that.
Have you made any inquiries or searches in terms of, or could you, maybe is a better way to phrase it, if the EDA or the city were to look at a facility or starting, is there a building available that we could lease or buy? If this one isn't going to ever come to fruition, maybe we have to start moving forward with alternate plans. I guess that's maybe what we should consider, because it sounds like if they're not going to have open by this time, there's, for whatever reason, we may never know, they may not ever open, but maybe we should start the process of doing it on our own, like Commissioner Schultz has suggested. At least put something in play here that we can start the process. Because I could imagine that is going to be an involved and timely process if we were to kind of take that project on.
Yeah.
So, are you guys up for the challenge?
And we've made some we've made some connections
Good,
with local
good.
providers, figuring out what's holding them back from expanding
Okay,
and what would be the help that we could bring in those
Perfect.
circumstances to help that along.
well, and I think,
Yes, there's the options of building a specific building for that purpose. There's options of taking a building and retrofitting it to be something like that. So we have looked at quite a few options, issues of staffing, and then who would be interested in taking that on. And there are opportunities.
okay,
So maybe we can work on that this month and bring a little bit more comprehensive conversation about it for next month.
I would like that. And I think Les would probably like it too.
Good, thank you.
All right, any other questions?
All right, one more update then from my report would be, it's not in your report, but I'll just update you on the New Ulm Partnership Group that's meeting on economic development. We have had a couple meetings with our consultant. We have hired someone, and we've had 2 meetings. The next step will be that there is a short video outlining the process, and that video will be coming to you in an email to make sure we have your correct email addresses, and then there will be a link to a short survey for you. So just wanted to let you know that will either come from David Schnobrick, myself, or John Nisley, or Chris Dalton. It'll be from one of us. But then you'll also note, so you get an email in a week or so, And then you'll also be asked to be interviewed. So that might be Zoom or phone. So just know that that is coming also. Okay? That's it.
Any questions for Heather?
Audra?
Audra, sorry. All right, entertain a motion to accept the report.
I'll offer the motion.
Second.
We have a
I'll
motion. Second. Any more discussion? Seeing none. Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brum,
Yes.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanni,
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz,
He probably had to
He's
go.
gone.
and Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. With no more business, meeting adjourned.